Welcome. Time to check the game notes. You see the arm dog. He's back in Pittsburgh after two big nights up in Toronto, running Sportsnet, shouting out game notes, shouting out Pasha. Unreal couple nights up there. G and Pasha behind the scenes, pulling the string. So we got the full squad here, and we have a massive show today. We're going to be snapping it around the NHL with Paul, BizNasty, BizNet. We got the game notes team of the week. We have a special riding the bus with the Rink Shrink's own Brian Yandle, Chicklets Chirps, Show Minzees, tons of picks for the weekend. Arm Dog, what's up? What's new in Pittsburgh?
Oh, I got my son home. Big games this weekend. Crazy hockey, Dad. It's dialed in, ready to go. A couple Penguins games tonight and tomorrow night. But before we get all into it, Murls, I got to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Peter Millar. Fall is officially here. The temperatures are dropping quickly. We snowed here. It snowed here yesterday and today. We saw that football game last night in Cleveland. It was coming down. But with winter sneaking up on us, it's time to make sure that your wardrobe's up to par. That's why we want to tell you about the outerwear line from our friends at Peter Millar, the All Course. The All Course lineup features a vest, a jacket, and a full zip hoodie that provides plenty of warmth thanks to loose fill insulation. Designed for easy, lightweight wear. The All Course also features a windproof construction and water-resistant, perfect for drizzly days. The snow's not coming down that hard, Murls. It's kind of heavy. It's kind of wet, so this is perfect. And maybe you can still get out and golf, too, in some places. Perfect for the cool weather rounds or out on the town. The All Course is aptly named. Be sure to check out the All Course outerwear and the rest of Peter Millar's line at www.petermillar.com/chicklets. Thank you, Peter Millar. Beautiful stuff.
Great ad read. Like I said last time, anyone listening, mom, dad, I need some Q-zips. petermillar.com. Get over there. Use code Chicklets. Take care of me this Christmas. So what's this tournament Cruz is doing here?
It's not like a tournament. It's just hockey games. This NEPAC. I don't know what it stands for. Like Northeastern. It's like a fake league that they made up or something with a bunch of teams. But my kid's team with Mount St. Charles is in it. So there's I think 6 teams in here this weekend, which actually Murls works out perfectly because it's Thanksgiving break after this. Like the holiday season is upon us. Of course, we know that. But Thanksgiving. And it works out too. Birthday weekend for the old arm dog, buddy. Birthday weekend. So get my kid home, and he stays home after this weekend for a while too. So it's going to be good. Saturday's my birthday tomorrow.
What's the plans for the birthday? Big party, dinner?
No, I'm watching my kids' hockey games, bud.
Crazy hockey dad. Birthdays are done.
How crazy. I don't care about my birthday. I don't care. You know what I care about? Hard work. That's all I want to see. Hard work from the boys. So they finish off, have a nice break here afterwards. School's out for a little bit for them, which is exciting. His sisters are all happy. They're in school today, unfortunately, but he's hanging around, kicking around the house right now. It's awesome. How about you? We missed you last show, buddy. We missed you.
I made it here. We're settling in. We got over the jet lag. First 2 nights, the kids were up at 2 a.m. Those are long mornings when they get up at 2 a.m. It was brutal. We flipped him. He's up till 5 now. He's sleeping till 5, and she slept till 7 this morning. So I think we've turned the corner back in Troy, taking her to learn to skate tonight. So it'll be her first time skating in Troy, like officially Troy Youth Hockey, Freezer Park, as it's known around here.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is it cold?
Oh, yeah. So when I played
one of those heated vest things too, you ever seen those?
I'm not the crazy hockey dad yet. I'm not that into it. But when I was a kid, the one wall was open. So the snow and the cold air would come in. I never forget my toes. Remember how the toe caps used to be like cloth? So they would get snow on them and freeze, turn into ice. There was a parent with a heat gun that was on the bench trying to warm up our toes in between shifts because it was that cold. So it's going to be a fun night when we get over there. But enough about me. I want to hear what G's up to back there behind the scenes, our college hockey expert.
What's our boy doing?
Just promoting the sandbagger. What a sandbagger that Pasha put together. Dropped yesterday on the Chicklets YouTube channel. Incredible. We have a Chicklets U coming out next week, which is great. We also have breast cancer awareness merch still on sale. Only a few more days. 100% of net proceeds go to breasties. But how about that bagger, boys? That was incredible.
Oof. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but I heard it's amazing.
Yeah. Tuukka Rask, I'd say, and you might as well bring on Pasha here too, but I think Tuukka Rask might be the best sandbagger guest we've ever had. He was going at Biz and Wit from start to finish. It was nuts.
Yeah,
Don't mind the young lady walking behind Pasha if you're watching on YouTube. Right now.
Jesus, Murls. Rask really made my job easy on this one. He was so entertaining. He was just rattled, chirping, good golf. Like we've said, I think it's a top 5 sandbagger. I really enjoyed it.
Someone in the chat says Tuukka looks like the Grinch. He does have a Grinchy little he does have a little Grinch look. He was electric. If you got him and Pasta together, just because Pasta's all time, like the Julia lines, and he's pretty fun, loose driving character. With him and Tuukka together would be insane. Like you'd have to have 100 cameras on those guys because it would just be electric. I love the sandbagger though. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, please. Music, the way it's put together. The actual match too was like really, really good. And then the personalities of all them and Tuukka taking the cake. There's some great moments in there. So you did an awesome job, Pasha. That was a fun one, start to finish.
Thanks, Armin. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, buddy. Of course, I got
great
you.
one coming too next. I mean, Darcy Tucker, Steve Thomas. It's an incredible sandbagger film down in Florida. Oh, Stumpy was there. He's a stick too.
Is he?
He's a great golfer.
I think Darcy. I think Tuxie has like double hip replacement too, which is these guys are nuts. Like how young they are getting their hips all redone and everything. It's crazy. Played hard. That guy's a beast. Were they like Tuukka? How was it? Were they like Tuukka or no?
Yeah, it got pretty chirpy too.
Did it? Yeah, the old school chirp
pipeline here. Yeah, it's a good one.
A lot of old school hockey stories too, which you just love to hear on the golf course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pink Whitney, a lot of birdies, or do you don't want to give it all away?
Can't give anything away.
All right.
Yeah, go check it out.
Check it out. Check out the latest Chicklets. But before we get to that, before we get to Biz, Army, what do you got to say about the Leafs hit before we bring in Biz to really get things going around here?
Well, which one? I mean, you talk to some people, they see them as being the same. And me and Whit, so I was on the panel for the Whitecloud hit on Knies, which I love Knies. I don't want to see him get hurt. He's like one of those like guys that's figuring out how to be like a power forward in the NHL with his physicality. He's built like a football player. I mean, he's like what we call him a cigarette machine, Murls.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about that? I was watching your Sportsnet feed. You guys did a whole show about
did a whole thing
and then he
on
comes
him.
out and gets rocked.
You know what I said? I said he plays smash mouth hockey, and then boom, he gets smash mouth with Whitecloud, which I thought was a good hit. It was a great hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too bad the outcome, obviously, but that's what happens. It's the NHL. It's hockey. Whitecloud's a big boy. Vegas plays big boy hockey and making a hard play, trying to get to the line. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Full body check, full body complete hit. That's what I thought. That's what I said. And that's where I pissed everybody. Well, not everybody, but lots of people in Leafs Nation with their Leafs blue colored glasses on that only see they were Murls. They were comparing the two hits, saying that they were the same hits, and they were showing me this picture. Knies is already blasted back, and yes, now his feet are off the ground. So they're giving me disinformation, internet misinformation when they're showing this. I don't even think some of these people watch the game. They see this picture and they just come at me going, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot. How can you say this?" And you know, Biz has been in the soup too, Murls. He's in the soup.
Well, let's get in the biggest Leafs fan there is, and let's get his take on these hits the last couple nights. Paul BizNasty Bissonette. What's going on, buddy?
There we go. We got him.
What's up, boys? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
You got you.
You going hiking or what are you doing?
I was going to go a little bit later, but right now I'm just pulling over so I can get this call out of the way. Yeah, we got some stuff to discuss. Before we get there, boys, on a great launch of the season game notes. A couple clicks for Grinnell breaking the coaching change, the coaching carousel in Boston. And, of course, our boy Pasha. What an edit on the new Sandbagger. Tuukka Rask, Andrew Raycroft. Check that out on the Spit and Chicklets YouTube channel. What do we got? 358,000 subscribers? Woo-woo!
Woo-woo-hoo-hoo.
Woo-woo! We might be on a little bit of a delay here, boys, but thanks for having me on. And what did you guys want to discuss? The hit?
The
Yeah,
hits,
well,
the hits in
both hits.
Toronto. Army saying all your crazy Leaf fans are coming at him because Army said it's clean and it's fine. What is your take on it?
And hold on, Biz, before we go,
Yeah.
like I know you put out a good video. You were pretty clear when you were doing Hockey Night in Canada with the Revo hit. Then you put out a video kind of clarifying further your opinion and kind of telling people to shut up pretty much with their like blind vision of this check. And now we have the Whitecloud hit, which is a totally different hit. And they are saying it's the same hit. They're saying, like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
Well, when you say they, you're talking about online morons who are just arguing. They're arguing every different opinion. So, like, as of right now, here, you guys want me to turn my blinker off? Sorry, here, I got my four ways on. Jeez, I got a million things coming. I got a million things coming at me from Grinnell in the chat here. So, just going back to the Revo hit, like. People, we have like the hockey truists who are like, oh, that's clean. He had his head down. He can clean his clock. It's like, well, no, the game has made changes where the principal point of contact can't be the head, right? So it's just unfortunate because when Darnell Nurse rounds that net and then Reeves goes stick on stick, he never fully turns his body. So he's never actually square to up ice. So Revo never hits him square. He could have hit him on that right shoulder, but he misses his right shoulder completely. He gets him right on the button. That's what KOs Darnell Nurse. He had the ability to make body-to-body contact. Darnell Nurse addressed that in his comments when he finally spoke to the media. Didn't exactly agree with the fact that Darnell's like, basically, this guy's out there to just kind of like cause injury when referring to Revo. Didn't really like the comments at the end of his statement, but mind you, he just got knocked out by Revo, so there's probably a little bit of animosity there.
That, though? Do you like that he said that? I like that guys can, like, he doesn't have to go, oh, I know Revo probably didn't mean to. I think it's kind of good, too, that he, like, has animosity for it. It's fine that he can say that.
Yeah, no, I don't care that he's got animosity. I don't necessarily agree that all Revo is trying to do out there is go out and inflict pain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if Revo's got a fighting major so far this year. His job as a fourth liner is to go out there and play physical, get on the forecheck, and try to create momentum for his team. So if by trying to separate the man from the puck who's got his head down, buried in the middle of the ice, then sure, I guess that's the case. I personally think, well, when I said my statement originally, I don't think he went into that hit with ill intention. I almost think Revo was a little bit surprised by the time that he made eye contact with him and beeline for him that Nurse hadn't lifted his head up and altered anything about the state of his body being able to be susceptible to a big, massive hit. Like that,
I agree.
And even at that point, like you saw, like Revo ended up going stick on stick. And then I think that the fact that he opened up and he could have gotten that puck away from him, he almost like made the decision, okay, now I'm going to go for the puck. And that's what kind of aligned him to just get him right on the chin. So the fact that people are trying to compare these two hits is absolutely insane. Because
crazy. It's
just going back to what I was talking about earlier. Darnell Nurse was never square to up the ice. Like Knies is clearly skating for the offensive zone at like a 90-degree angle. He's going right at that blue line. Like we're not talking about Darnell kind of shoulders being about 45 degrees compared to the 90 degrees up ice. Most people in the chat are listening right now know exactly what I'm talking about to the 45 to 90 degree angle. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
And it was a more that's what sets itself up for more of a timing, straight line hockey hit.
Sure. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the first contact he had was on the head. Well, there's a rule in place in the rule book now to simplify these things for these bozos online. So because he's going to hit him square, if anybody has ever played hockey, your ankle, your knee, and your torso flexion in order to skate causes your head to be the first thing that's going to be out there. Okay? Yep. So no matter how perfect of a hockey hit, if you hit a guy square in the chest, 99% of the time is you're going to hit his head to some degree because that's the first thing that's going to come. Okay, so they specifically wrote in the rule book for this purpose, when you hit a guy square, if the main point of contact is to go throw a clean square body check, and it just so happens he gets his head in on the way, it's all good. It's in the fucking rule book. People are trying to say he jumps. Well, these fucking morons obviously haven't looked. Even if you want to send me the screenshots, send me your fucking screenshots, because I'll show you his inside edge on his right boot is blowing snow. How the fuck can you be off the ice if you're blowing snow with your inside edge? You can't, you fucking morons. You can't do it.
That's what I was saying too on Wednesday night when I got out of there and I left the studio, and man, it was hot. I had all these people, the same people probably for you on Saturday night when you were talking about that, and they're comparing the two hits. And then I'm getting the screenshot, the misinformation, disinformation screenshot from the 4 frames after the completed body check where his feet eventually from the contact leave the ice in a normal hitting motion. That this is what happens. But
Army, sorry to interrupt. Perfect timing. Breaking news about 5 seconds ago.
What do we got?
Ooh, Matthew Knies is out on Sunday.
Boys, it's terrible. It's terrible. I bleed blue. I think that Matthew Knies has shown immense progress this year. His net front presence, his consistency that we've never seen before. He's probably been overall, other than Stolarz, their most consistent player, at least offensively. You could throw JT in the mix. I think from overall perspective, Marner's played great, but from a growth perspective and getting a guy making not what those other guys are making, contributing what he's contributing, it's been unbelievable to watch, and a huge thing for Leafs Nation, considering we need those entry-level guys making impacts with the money that all those guys are making. But Army, to go back to your point, is a lot of people say, oh, he jumped. It's like when you're a player and you're going into that hit, you start coming out of that squat position to brace yourself for impact. And when you do make that impact, naturally, physics. How many of you people in the chat have taken physics class? You might have went to biology. You might have went to the other basic math class, but you got to go to physics to understand that that's what's going to happen when those two guys meet. So I'm sorry my boy Knies got hurt, but that's a fucking clean body check, and the league needs more of that shit. If they get rid of that type of hit, you could fucking keep your panel spot. I'll quit the podcast. I'm done. I'm gonna go start a farm in Wyoming.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing too, Murls, and boys, to this point too, Murls hitting in the game, getting hits like that out of the game. We always hear that. The glancing, bad timing hit on with Revo on Nurse. Yes, we want to. Can we eliminate these all the time? It's crazy to say we need to get out of the game. I don't think it'll ever get out of the game. And to that point is because it's so fast and a little bit to the point. And I want to know how you guys feel about this. About guys being ready to be hit also in the same thing. Because our game, it's getting less. We can admit that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened on Nurse. He's used to not going back there. He doesn't shoulder check. As Reeves' brother said, he was looking down at his skates in a funny Instagram post or tweet, whatever it was. And then, like, guys, you can't always get that blue line. You can't always get that red line. You can't always get to that loose puck in the corner, or you're going to get hurt. You're going to get your head taken off. There was pucks I didn't go get. Maybe I didn't cut to the middle, and it cost me playing in the NHL, but I didn't want to get my head rocked around. Call me soft, call me what you want, but you got to protect yourself when you're out there. Like, these guys are skating around, heads down, not worried about anything. Like, oh, I'm going to get the red line if the guy hits me.
Like, that's a common thing. Hey, Biz, like, I'm not victim blaming, whatever they want to say, and I know you have to deal with this, but it's like you have a responsibility also to protect yourself. And I know the rules are kind of written up where it's on the hitter more so, the person delivering these checks, to make sure that nothing goes wrong. But and that's taken kind of responsibility away from everyday players to, like what Murls was saying, you got to protect yourself. You got to have your head on a swivel. So
there's obviously going to be the hockey truists, and boys, we're hockey truists, right? We truly believe that if you're skating up the ice, have your head up. Like, you have to be responsible, and especially know who's on the ice, who's coming to get you. Like Whitecloud's the type of guy who's going to throw that type of hit. We knew Scotty Stevens was going to throw that hit. Fourth line, Revo, he's going to throw that hit. So we agree with the hockey truists in the sense of you have to keep your head up and play. Now, going to the Nurse one, they'll say that. They'll say, oh, too bad, he's got to keep his head up. It's like, whoa. He had his head down, and he deserved to get put through the end wall with a clean square, with a clean square body check. Revo had that opportunity. He missed it. He got him right on the button. And that's the part about the rule that we've changed. That's why the Knies hit, there's going to be no suspension, because he did leave himself susceptible. He didn't have his head up, and he got rocked with a clean square body check. So people want to compare these two hits. It actually works perfect for us to explain to these morons that they're actually not the same hit. They're completely different in the regards of how the player was throwing the hit approached it. That's it. Plain and simple.
100%. I agree 100% with that. And I wanted to have you on because we could clarify it a little bit better, just because they happened in pretty much the same week on a Saturday and on a Wednesday
both
night.
with a Leafs player giving it, where Leafs fans thought we were screwed because he got a 5-gamer, and then we get one, and then we never get the calls. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're the richest organization in the entire fucking league. Just fucking make it past round 2 and shut the hell up.
Yeah, and you know what, too? They like, I would say, like, in Canada in general, that's Canada's game. It's our game. We know better. And, like, you know, to get this level of uneducation of the game of hockey, like, where are you from? And it's just crazy coming from a Leaf fan base that it's supposed to be. And, you know, the Leaf fan base is broad. Yes, there's a ton of people inside.
That's why I just tell them to shut the fuck up and tell them to fuck off. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like I said on there, I think Koliakovo, who texted me yesterday, he had kind of taken the other stance, and he, like, obviously I was like I was saying some stuff online, and I'm not directing that. I'm just fucking around partly too, but also I don't give a fuck. Like, if he wants to take the other stance, it's like, okay, well, break it down as to why you think it's dirty. I'll hear you out, but ultimately I'm staying exactly with what I said. It's not a dirty hit. And even so, I think that he rounded the corner. I think that he's like, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. And partly believes, like, and maybe he comes out with more tweets or more comments about it when he's on the TSN panel, but he was the only guy really from a hockey background perspective that I saw argue that he maybe should have been thrown out of the game. So I don't know. That's it. That's all I got for that.
Yeah, let's move it on to the next topic. This guy's educated. He probably took physics at Harvard, but I think Don Sweeney made a real bonehead move by firing Jim Montgomery, the Boston Bruins. Guy has the best winning percentage I think we've ever seen in the first 2.5 years of a coach. He set the record for points already, and just because the team's playing like crap gets rid of the coach. What are you guys thinking?
I just think from an organizational perspective, and like, I think that everybody has to be accountable here. I do think that he got the short end of the stick with the record that he's had. I just think that after what they did last year with losing Bergeron and Krejci, there was almost like this arrogance and letting of the guard down in that offseason, the way that they handled the Allmark and Swayman situation, from the understanding that the organization was not happy with training camp. They said they were not sharp in training camp, probably thought, well, last year we pretty much did the exact same thing as the year before, and we lost our 2 first-line center. Well, we go out and sign Lindholm, and we bring in Zadorov, and we got our guy Sway back finally. Oh, we're going to breeze through this thing. Boys, that's not the way the NHL works, man. These guys are always hungry, and people are always willing to fucking try to take your spot, and they let their guard down. And some of these moves, like Zadorov, and maybe not understanding the system has not worked out. Lindholm played so long in Calgary, and then he had a hard time adjusting to even getting to Vancouver. And then we've seen that so far, even in Boston, finding his offensive game not playing with any type of juggernauts on his line, or at least partly in Boston. So I think there deserves to be a little bit of blame to go around to everyone. Like, I think like the Swayman stuff, like that was fucking dramatic. I think that partly he's a great goaltender, but you have to compliment the system around him. And it seemed like he was kind of like, no, pay me as if though I'm the guy. So there just was a lot of arrogance, letting of the guard down. And I call them the headline hogs now. They're just drama queens at this point. And they had to move on to Monty to try to get a spark in this group to salvage the season.
Yeah, I really like the pasta here. We're getting it done. We weren't getting it done. We lost a great coach, but a great human being. I love that he added that. Arm Dog, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, and I think I think Chicklets has led the way on kind of even the Swayman contract and not signing him before trading Allmark, and like kind of the whole trickle down of decision making leading to, like, you know, one thing that we've always heard out of that dressing room is the character and like the leadership and the closeness and all these things. There had to be a lot of distraction in and around this team a little bit with regards to that, even to the point of the no contract for Montgomery as well heading into the year. So then you leave him on the table kind of unprotected as well to start this season without a contract or an extension added to him. So like the whole thing, I think, to Biz's point, there's other blame to be slotted in other places.
So have you guys heard? I heard a rumor. What's up?
Did you say so again?
What do you mean?
So you got the lispy thing going again. I think it's the
no,
when you're on your iPhone.
It's the iPhone when I'm on this app. It has nothing to do with my lisp.
Yep.
I heard rumblings that Monty was offered a deal in like the $3.5 to $3.75 million range for a 3-year extension. Have you guys heard any truth to that?
I just heard that too. I heard it too. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't even remember where I heard it from.
Murls.
But
I know they had been working on a contract, and it halted, I think, a couple weeks ago when this season started to go down this path. And it just never got done. I assume that he wanted a lot more. He deserves a lot more with the record he had there and everything else. So it's just it's too bad. We love Monty, but I think he's going to end up in a better spot. The Boston Bruins are not winning a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years. We all can see that with the talent there. He'll end up going to one of these other teams. If it's Anaheim, if it's St. Louis, if it's Nashville,
Anaheim should grab
Detroit.
He was, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and then I was going to just move on because I say Nashville because I don't know if you guys watched the other night. They got a penalty before the game even started.
Yeah.
And for the wrong lineup. So, I mean, I like this guy, Bruno. He was great to me when I was in Colorado for that training camp. But I got to think he's on the hot seat. Who do you think the next guy up on the hot seat is?
Boys, I don't know, but let's start with this. Kiefer Sherwood. The fact that they didn't bring him back for $1.5 million is an absolute fucking disgrace. Like, that is a fucking disgrace. I would look at every guy at that round table and that whatever the fucking or the brass as they call them, and I would ask them, what the fuck were you guys thinking? You know what I heard? Who's their fourth line center? The big guy, McCarron or is that how you say it? McCarron. My understanding is they didn't want him making more money than McCarron. That give him $1.5 million. They stayed firm at $1 million.
Wow.
Compare those two players. You're actually gonna fucking compare Kiefer Sherwood and that guy who I couldn't even pronounce his fucking name. Like, what a disgrace that is. And I have all the respect in the world for Stammer. He's a Hall of Famer, I believe. Same thing goes for I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but what a fucking career for Marchessault. But to think that you were just going to bring those guys in, where who has Stamkos been getting all those goals from all these years? Look at the Tampa Bay power play and his line mates. I think I could get 25 playing with Jack Eichel. They have no line drivers in Nashville, and then all of a sudden they have no centerman. So Ryan O'Reilly has to take the burden of all the work, whether it's winning a big face-off, whether it's killing a big penalty, whether it's setting up the power play. Like, how much of the onus now is on Ryan O'Reilly with really no other protection down the middle? I don't know if they thought that Novak kid was going to pop off, but these superstar scoring wingers that you brought in that are on the back nine of their careers, they need line drivers to play with in order to get the pucks in these situations. Like, I watched that game. Who did they just play for? Kraken. Boys, it was one and done central. They had no sustained pressure. They had no net front presence whatsoever. Like, it was one of the most pathetic offensive performances I've ever seen throughout 60 minutes against the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah,
it's fucking painful.
Yeah. It takes a lot of guys to make a soup, right? And you're saying Sherwood, with his presence, his ability to go get pucks, they don't have enough of those guys. And he's banging around. He's energy guy. He's brought a lot to Vancouver since being there, and he was big with Nashville too. But Here's their centerman, guys. Ryan O'Reilly, first line, Colton Sissons, Tommy Novak, and Michael McCarron. So Sissons is like a career fourth or third line guy. He's now pushed up in the second line position. Tommy Novak was a guy that had popped the last few years when they had nobody. Everyone was hurt, and he was popping off and getting a chance to play. And Michael McCarron is finally starting to come into something in his career and produce a little bit and be a guy, but he's a fourth line guy. Like, that's what he is. So they don't have, to your point, Biz, any action really up the middle. And how much really now with Ryan O'Reilly is he driving too right now? He's not the most fleet of foot guy, really good, smart, good player in a lot of different areas, but they don't have those. You know
what he could be slotted in properly is like a JT. Like, JT's obviously had to jump up the lineup given the injury situation in Toronto, but he's not the fastest guy. But Ryan O'Reilly, when playing with the right players and being put in the right situations and not having to be the guy in every single situation at his age, that's when he's going to be successful. Like, and going back to Kiefer Sherwood, boys, like, he's a poor man's Lehkonen. You need players who are going to get on the forecheck and get the puck back. Like, you have to have a few of those players. Like, I even compare him, like, you could compare him to Connor Garland. Maybe Connor Garland has a little bit more offensive upside. I also don't think Kiefer Sherwood has been given that opportunity until now, playing with Elias Pettersson. Like, he is a Chris Kunitz. He's a guy who's going to go do all the hard work. He's throughout junior and throughout his time in the AHL, he played on the first line. So he knows what it's like to play in those situations, and he's not intimidated by playing at the top. If you take a career third liner, like even from junior, he can maybe go play on the first line for 5, maybe 10 games, and he can sustain that. But at a certain point, there'll be a drop-off. When you get a guy who's used to playing top lines from a young age, even in the AHL, and then finally kind of rounds out his game to say, well, yeah, I don't have the high-end skill at the NHL level that Elias Pettersson does, but I can make plays with him and go get the puck for him and get open for him and create physicality around him. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's another Connor Garland. What does Connor Garland make?
What does he make?
$5 million. He makes $5 million. So you don't want to pay Kiefer Sherwood $1.5 million, Nashville? Fine. Go lose the season. Go miss playoffs. Congratulations. You won the negotiation. Yeah. Sound.
Yeah, that player you're looking for sounds a lot like our buddy right here, Arm Dog, what he did with Sidney Crosby there. Knew how to play in the first lines, gets called up. We were on the fourth line together. You creeped up there. He gave you the chance. You went and got the puck, gave it to Sid, put your head down, went to the net.
And those guys, too, like every single day, too, like it's a grind, right? It's hard, and it's hard for teams. It's been hard for Vancouver this year. And, Elias Pettersson he's clicking with him. He has energy. He has enthusiasm. He plays with passion. And then he does all the hard stuff. You need guys to go do the hard stuff a little bit. So yeah, credit to him. Who's your hot seat coach right now, Biz? Who's on the hottest of hot seats after Monty right now? The ball dropped. One of the shoes fell.
I honestly, because there's no pressure there and there's no pressure to make playoffs in Anaheim as we speak, I want to say Cronin, but it probably won't be him. We were just talking about the Monty situation. I think he deserves to go start fresh with a young crop of guys, and I want to see him in Anaheim because he went from Dallas, which is, it's a big market, but not quite like Boston. Then he goes off to Boston where he has all the success. He's got the record he has, and then he ends up getting canned. So it's like, go to a place where it's not going to be media driven, where he gets to kind of work his magic in silence and go grow the thing from the ground up. I would love to see him on a 4 to 5 year deal in Anaheim, probably around $4 million. I've been getting a lot of messages of people saying like, all they give a fuck right now is developing the land around the Honda Center, and they're kind of really not in win now mode. Like, I think that
good team. They got a good crop of guys.
Oh, they have such a good young crop of young guys. That's why, like, if Verbeek starts making moves to get rid of a few of these young guys before getting a new coach to see maybe how he can have an impact, like, especially like a guy like Trevor Zegras, why not bring in a guy like Monty to see how he can work with him before you end up moving off of him for nothing because his value is nothing, rather than let this old coach just bark at them nonstop, make all these young guys feel like shit. But I also understand Verbeek's side of it, where if they don't want to spend money, this guy Verbeek's going to look pretty stupid if they're firing a coach 1 year after they hire him. So I would assume they allow him to coach the rest of the year out. He gets his full 2 years, and then they end up parting ways. But I have heard nothing but bad things from what the players think of him as a coach, from going back to the end of last season with their meetings with management saying, this guy is not the answer. We don't like playing for him. Get him the fuck out of here.
All right, Biz, we got G popping in here. He must have something about the Monty situation.
Yeah, well, one of the things I heard, and I don't know if you guys can attest to this, but I heard Monty wasn't ever allowed to bring in his own staff. The Bruins picked his staff, and I think that's something that's super important with him moving forward for his next job, is he needs to be able to bring in his own guys and pick his own staff. So I do agree with Biz, like his next contract, where he goes next, you need to give him a little bit more lifespan, like a 4-year contract, and you need to let him bring in his own staff, because in Boston, that wasn't the case, and I've been told that never really sat right with Monty.
So I got two things here. It seems as if though Neely and Sweeney are the biggest control freaks in the world, and as far as Sweeney's concerned, I have no ill will towards him. If you want to act like you're the smartest guy in the room and tell your coach who his assistants have to be, all good. Gee, when you said on the podcast that the fact that they gave, or there was heads up given to Sacco if things don't start out appropriately, that he would be the new guy, the fact that that was even put into the universe by management and the organization is absolute bullshit. It's a fucking disgrace that they did that. They created their own bad juju, and they only have themselves to blame for that.
And I think that happened because Sacco was offered a head coaching job and declined it. So when he was promoted this summer from assistant head coach to associate head coach, that was the verbiage that was given to him is, hey, if you take this promotion and don't go take another head coaching job, you're our next guy. But I do agree with you, Biz.
So what?
On the trail of everything that is Boston, there's just another storyline inside of there to
drama.
Yeah.
Headline hogs.
They're the headline hogs. They're the soap opera of the season so far, and they deserve everything they've gotten to this point, the way that they've handled everything. And that's just my opinion. I still think that this could be a team that gets to the second round. I think this team could be Jason Voorhees. Every time you think the movies and the sequels are over, okay, he's finally dead. Oh, look at this. Jason's back to murder another fucking family. This guy just refuses to die. And sure shit, it'll probably be against my fucking Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round too.
Well,
Exactly.
the Bruins have been losing, but there's somebody in Boston that's been losing even more. Our good friend, Mr. Ice, and he came out last night or yesterday with a video. We got to play the video. It's amazing.
Oh, he's got to play it.
All right, listen, NHL. I'm not going to scream and yell. What's going on? What is going on? Every game is like game 7. Every game. 1-0. 3-1. I got a frog in my throat. 2-1. Last night, the one game that went over was a miracle. 2 empty net goals in the last 30 seconds. Miracle. That's the only way games go over. I see guys in lineups, 30 goal scorers, 40 goal scorers, have 3 goals, 4 assists on the year. What is going on? What happened this offseason? What is going on? Game 7 every single night. Listen, we have a huge group. The Ice people are many, okay? We're great people. We're good people. We're husbands. We're not many wives. We've got kids. We vote. We pay our taxes. And we bet overs. And they're not coming in. They're not coming in because the NHL players decided that it's all defense. It's all defense. A very boring product. Let me tell you, very, very boring. Now, when you play the playoffs game 7, I understand. But these 20 through 50 season games, you got to pad your steps. Listen, NHL players, you know the salary cap's going up, but when you finish the season with 7 goals and 13 assists, you're getting a tryout. You're getting a tryout.
That's Mr. Ice right there. This guy's a public official. Pay taxes. I vote. I bet overs. So unbelievable rant by him. But what is it? I wanted to call him and try to settle him down. I went back and looked at the stats. There's no scoring. What is going on? Is it better penalty kills against the
big
PPs?
win by the Bruins last night, 1-0.
Like what is your guys' thoughts on it? You think there's anything that's changed?
There's been a decent amount of injuries, right? There's been some important players out of lineups as to why. I mean, Matthews, the guy's a 69 goal scorer. Even Patrick Laine in Montreal, like he went down early. There's just been, like, to me, just the injuries. And
I think too, some teams just aren't as good this year for whatever reason. Like we've got some teams that are excelling, that are good, but they're good because their teams are good. And then we've got a few players that are popping off. But like not like I don't know, there's like a separation this year or something. And I kind of feel what Mr. Ice is saying to a certain degree too, boys. I think I've shared on the chat. Biz, I think you said on Hockey Night Canada too over the weekend that like it just kind of has like there is with the game itself, like it's just a separation, or is it boring? Did you say
no. I got an interesting under the hood stat here, which is kind of counterintuitive to what we're talking about here. You see the NHL save percentage has been steadily declining year over year, which you think would mean more goals. So bit of an interesting under the hood fact.
Yeah, I never like save percentage, though. That's save percentage because the guys you could take these shots from outside on the blue line and they count, like this save percentage. I don't think it's that. I think it's got to be they're seeing these teams that win the Stanley Cup. The only thing I can think of is like Florida plays a tough defensive style. And now these guys are hearing all about it. Like, oh, this loose play, you're never going to win. They're sick of us like chirping them because they play so loose and free that they actually are focusing on every game and playing with structure.
I'd have to see like how many shots compared to last year based on that save percentage, like just like the steady decline. I mean, there's a few big I just saw Grinelli put in the chat. Oh, is he wrong? Okay, well,
I was wrong.
Okay, he said Chris Kreider had no goals. I was like, what?
He's got no assists, I think.
No assists. He's got the Cy Young. Jordan Schmaltz is another guy who's had some big years playing with Clayton Keller out in Arizona, now in Utah. I don't think he's got a goal so far to start the year in 18, 19 games. So I don't know what the reason is exactly, but hopefully it gets going here because Mr. Ice, he's got to feed his family, boys. This is just getting out of hand. Like, well, IceCon might get canceled if this doesn't improve. So I don't really have much else on that. What else did you guys need me for? I was going to go grab some brekkie.
Well, it looks like you saw our outline. It leads right into the biggest news and the one thing that was carrying the NHL. The news that everybody loved was the Ovechkin goal chase, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks now. Brutal news that it's a broken leg.
But also good news in a way, right, Biz? Because I think we were concerned about like more ligament damagey to his leg, but I guess a break is better than that.
Yeah, so I guess maybe some people listening are like, what the fuck are you talking about, Army? Like ligaments, like from an athlete and healing perspective, like with a high ankle sprain or ligament damage, like sometimes this can like bleed into months and months and months. Whereas in like when it's a fracture, it's like the bone's going to heal. And right back in probably 6 weeks, he's going to be skating again. So yeah, a bit of a few moment, like that the fact that he's going to at least be able to come back and play this year, he won't have off the ice that long, where hopefully he can keep this rhythm and consistency, because listen, he had a lot of momentum going his way to reach this by the end of the year. And with a guy of his age, like sometimes a little bit of time off can really slow you down and take you out of rhythm. So let's hope that's not the case. Hey boys, even if he ends up getting, 25 to finish off the year, like it's still going to make things exciting. They're probably going to be a playoff team. We always love having Ovi in the action. And then going back to what my original statements were, like competing against other sports like football in the fall, and sometimes the NHL maybe not being the most exciting to start the year. I also don't think it's the worst thing from a league advertising and generating clicks and buzz perspective that this were to be broken at the beginning of next season, and hopefully with a little bit of leeway, and also a way to properly give him his flowers by by presenting it in a certain way. Like, making sure that every game next year that he's playing is nationally televised at the start of the year. Like if he's 5 goals, set the table, promote it, maybe do some funny ads, like really get the buzz going around, because like there's not too many things that draw an outside interest from people who are not really that big hockey fans. And the fact that Wayne Gretzky's goal record will be broken by a Russian player, where we thought this would have never happened with the advancement of goalies and technology, people outside of hockey are interested in this. And also you have Russia, which is a pretty big country. There will be all eyes on the NHL. So it can only help from a league perspective.
Do you think if it does leak into next year, the NHL would set up the schedule, maybe his first like 10 games, it's against Pittsburgh or say Edmonton or LA, like Gretzky's, or in New York, stuff like that?
That's the thing. Then you also control the schedule. That's why like Whit laughed me off my take early on, and I get what I was being a bit of a Debbie Downer, saying, I don't really want to break it this year for selfish reasons. But for all these reasons we're talking about, I think it'll probably help the game grow more. Now, people will still be dialed in at the fact that if he were to break it this year at the end of the year, just at the sheer excitement that they're in playoffs, he's on this heater of a season at 39 years old, which he would become the highest scoring 39-year-old ever, right? Like what's the most goals a 39-year-old has ever scored? 20?
I'd have to check the game notes.
Look under your fucking hood, Pasha. Get under the hood, get some grease on you.
I looked it up too because I saw Mark Recchi is like, I think Mark Recchi's like, I was hanging out with him the other day and we were talking about Ovi and we were looking up the most goals at like 39, 40, because Rex played till he was like 42, and he's like up there, like top, like I think Yager's in some of this talk as you get a little
Gordie Howe with 39 talks at 30. Yeah. 39 talks at 39.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. So Ovi probably would have broke that record, but now here's another crazy one that I want to say Frank Saravelli or maybe that Big Head Hockey came with, is Ovi still has the ability, if he goes really hot, to beat the amount of games that Wayne did it in too, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I saw something on that too. Yep.
Where he'd do it faster.
In less games. Yeah, do it in less games.
That's the crazy stat about all of this.
Yeah. I think he would have, the way he was playing it and the way Washington's playing.
Scoring 2 goals a game. He almost had back-to-back hat tricks before he broke his leg. And then skated off the ice like a machine.
Yeah. Well, boys, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. You guys are crushing it. We love having you in the Chicklets family. Game Notes is crushing it. It's on a rocket ship to the moon. We love the chat. Even I'm on the chat now. I love the chat.
We love that. Love to see it. Yeah, we want to thank you. You probably postponed your Thai massage or your freshly squeezed orange juice order.
Hey, what's the breakfast order right now? What's the breakfast order you're going in for right now?
I go to this place called Bernadine's. It's unbelievable. It's in Old Town. There's rockets everywhere. They have their coffee's solid, but they have the best breakfast burrito and breakfast sandwich that I make about 3 alterations to every time I get it. And the barista rolls her eyes, but nonetheless, a nice little tip for her for my high maintenance ass. Watch the Sandbagger, Tuukka Rask, Andrew Raycroft. Subscribe to the YouTube. Keep fucking crushing it, boys, and enjoy another Bostonian coming up. Woohoo!
All right, thanks, Biz. Yep, we're gonna move from Biz. We're gonna skip right to riding the bus. Biz ate a ton of what's he call them, soggy subs on the bus, but he's done with that. So right to riding on the bus. First thing we got is the college Game Notes Player of the Week. This guy could have it probably every week this year. We all know him, Ryan Leonard from Boston College. He had 3 goals, 3 assists in the 2 games this week. I think one of them tied it up with 4 minutes to go and then won it in OT with just a ridiculous behind the leg shots, not between the leg shots. This was behind the leg shot. You can see it here if you're watching on YouTube. Takes his arms behind both legs against Providence. Unbelievable player. Speaking of Washington Capitals, he'll be there in April and May if they make the playoffs, which they're definitely going to do. And Army, you had some CHL talk you wanted to get in.
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting with all the news that we were talking about over the last few weeks with NCAA and kind of the rulings that have come down. All these leagues are having like snap emergency meetings, like the USHL and, the BC Junior Hockey League and what's going to happen. Of course, there was stuff with the BC Junior Hockey League before and Hockey Canada and playing independent of Hockey Canada. all this stuff has been building to now. There's a list of guys. It's crazy that are all jumping ship to the CHL. I was scrounging around the internet to find it because it's changing every day. I think you told me when we came on before the show, like I think another guy saw his name. He was added to this team the other day, but it's like 13 or 14 guys I think I've seen so far. There's one team in the BC JHL out in BC because a lot of players will go out there, much like kind of what the USHL is, but to play hockey because they have ideas of going to college. So you're held hostage. You can only go this route. And now you can pick where you want to go in that route. Well, now the game has changed. It's wide open. But there's a list of names that I found on the internet that was just like crazy. I saw a team in the BC JHL had 6 guys leave their team. 6 guys say we're leaving, we're heading out of here. Their team had a great start to the season, and their 6 top guys are all running for the hills because either they have a D1 commit already and they want to go now to play in the CHL because they can. So I just found that super crazy, super interesting of what is happening right now. Keep an eye on that in the chat, all the people, if you're interested in your teams and the development, because it's all changing now, where you can find guys and prospects and the draft and everything that's coming up here. It's a pretty wild landscape to follow, and it's changing like every day. Like for the most, I had a call with someone the other day to talk about my son who's 14 and like, what do you do now? Like, where do you go? Like, what's the right idea? And yes, your kid will dictate that. And, maybe our next guest can help and talk about this and what he's seeing, but it's so crazy right now. It is just so crazy with these prospects and development and the route and the path. The players,
we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into all that with BY, but yeah, BC League had to have a special meeting or something because it's all the top players. It's not the 3rd and 4th liners leaving. It's the top players. That's so CHL. It's a mess, but who's not a mess is my team in Europe. I got to shout out Kiko Espo. They've won 5 out of the last 6 games. They're playing right now. I guess the whole team listens to game notes. Of course, they listen to Chicklets already, but they like import Pink Whitney, so they're huge fans of the Chicklets. So we got to shout them out.
Shout out to them.
We haven't done this one, but I got an AHL player of the week. I don't know if you caught this one. Chris Terry plays for the Bridgeport Backpacks, as we used to call them. 1,000 pro games. We love to shout out the 1,000 NHL games, but the pro games, it can be just as hard to get to. In 152 NHL, 829 AHL. That's a grind, and 19 in the KHL. So give Chris Terry some props there. And
wow.
Time to go to our guest now, finally. He's been patiently waiting. It is our own we might have heard him on FDNY NYPD with us. Host of the Rink Shrinks, Brian Yandle, 2-time All-American at UNH. Perfect guy for riding the bus, talk college hockey, youth hockey, all that nonsense. What's
Sorry for
going
keeping you waiting, Bri. Thanks, buddy.
I love it. Great to be here, boys. Hopefully my connection and, everything is a little bit smoother than Biz's internet.
Oh, yeah.
It was
going
like
in the mountains.
It was like his backswing.
Clunky. Yeah, to say the least. Welcome, buddy. I'm interested in following you. We got to bring up that video we saw the other day. Maybe we'll just do that out of the gates, right, Mur?
Yeah, let's just lead it off. Let's just get to it. It was great getting, Brian Boyle texted me yesterday. He had it on the NHL live show, him and Corey Schneider at the beginning, 5:00 last night. So all the boys are all excited. So, I can dive into it. It was obviously, we were playing Mid-Fairfield, which is a great program, great team, great coach. We ended up losing them up in Pee Wee, Quebec last year. They, they went on to win it. So great, rivalry. Usually when they come up, we come down, we play them 2 games in the day. Early morning game, we end up winning. So the boys are kind of flying high. We grab a little bit of lunch in between. And then afterwards, we come out to a good start early in the game. We're up 2-0. And you know how the refereeing is, boys. You're like, oh, you never know. I'm like, dude, I'm the rink shrink. I'm trying to all right, the referees, they're amateurs. It is what it is. But we get a call right away. I thought it was a good hit, start of the 3rd period. 2 big boys. When 2 big boys collide, you're like, dude, that's a good hockey hit. You know what I mean? I could see the size differential, all that. Whatever, we're killing. So I'm a little hot. Next, right away. So now we're killing. Pass through the neutral zone. Our D-man steps up. Another pretty good body contact. But I'm like, all right, it was high. It was a little high. I could see a little head snap back. We're going to have to kill a 5-on-3. Referee comes over and says, hey, we need somebody to serve a penalty. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, did you give him an extra? Like, what happened? He's like, no, the referee said, I'm sorry, the goalie said this was was a BS call or something like that. I go, what? I go, the goalie got a penalty? I'm like, the play was in the friggin' neutral zone. I'm like, how?
He's chiming.
Yeah. I'm like, he's chirping you from there? I'm like, he's 12 years old. His voice barely even carries. He's like, yeah, no, he said he mouthed off to me. All right, I go, he get in the Frankie, get in the box. That's it. You go. You got to take a freaking stupid penalty. Now we're down 5-on-3, and we got you going in the box. We're like, get an I don't even know what the rule is at this point. Obviously, I know they can't go down 5-on-2. I'm like, he's going to take a penalty. Get in the box. I look at the backup who's doing the door. I go, get your stuff. Go in. He looks at me. He's like, he goes, what?
Is this something you've ever like thought of doing, or just totally spur of the moment because you're so mad?
It was so spur of the moment.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking about it, and the kid goes in, like, we're down 5-on-3. He's cold as anything and makes a couple big saves. We end up killing off, get it back to 5-on-5. I walk down the bench to my assistant, Dave Cooper, who we coach with. I'm like, Coop, I go, dude, this is unbelievable. I'm like, the kid's still in the box. I'm like, I didn't know. He gave him a 10-minute misconduct. I'm like, so he was going to make one of our kids sit in the box for 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
are you
brutal.
kidding me? I didn't even know that at the time. I'm like, I'm so glad I did it. You know what I mean? He deserves to be sitting in there feeling shame for 10 minutes. And
what were you going to do if it was 2 minutes? Was he going to skate out in his gear across the ice?
5-on-3, so we would have had to wait for a whistle, or I think we would have had to somebody. But the thought didn't cross my mind. And I got my, these kids are 13, right? So they're looking around, and they're kind of like, they give me the coach eyes, like, look, but they're also.
Frankie, get in the box.
There, that's the best part.
Get in the box. Get in the box. You're going to take a penalty. Get in the box.
If you're watching on YouTube, we got the video, but you hear the sound there. And that's what, hey, when you're coaching this youth hockey, you youth hockey coaches, be careful out there. Those live barns are sneaky. They're hidden. They're hidden right there.
Above my head. Literally, you can't get any closer to my head. I learned it the hard way one time. I was watching a game on live barn, couldn't be there, and I had to like call my assistant coach, like, dude, everything that you said is online. Like, we need to be careful. But obviously, spur of the moment, I wasn't even thinking about it. But hey,
that's
a little bit of
the best part of the
accountability.
quick. That's the best part is you, Frankie. Hey, you want to take a penalty? You get in the box.
My buddy texted me, like, if his name was like John or something, it would have been. He's like, the fact that his name's Frankie too, just you screaming Frankie across the ice, such an old school Italian name, Frankie. Get in, the street lights.
What did the kids
Frankie.
say after the game and the picture, and that he's on NHL Network and that he's talked about on Chicklets? Like, what's the kid thinking? Is this just like amazing?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He's a great kid. He's been with me since he was in Learn to Skate. Goalie, great family, great parents. They're just good people. Like the dad walking off the ice, he had obviously snapped the picture of him. And I walked over and I'm like, dude, like, thank God we won. We won 4-0. Because then if it backfired, then it would have been a bad look. But the father walks over to me and I was just like, probably one of my best coaching moves of all time. And I've coached a lot of games. So he couldn't even if he was like mad, he couldn't be mad because I was so happy. That
like for a goalie, for a goalie, you're either playing, you're either working the gate, or if the bench is too small, you're sitting off on the side, or maybe but they never get to go in the penalty box. I'm sure that was amazing. And Murls brought it up that maybe that's like a rule. That should be like if a goalie takes a penalty, like we might be onto something here. Maybe we're seeing in youth hockey, like those non-tag up offsides that last until you're 19 years old in USA hockey. Like, give me a break.
Can you imagine the Leafs fans if a goalie's coming out of the box, crossing the ice, and buries one of their guys? They'll be all up in arms about that.
Well, the kids are looking at me. They're like, my son, Dad, does Frankie have to go on the ice? I'm like, I don't know. We'll just deal with it. We'll figure it out. He came out. I go, hey, did you learn something? And again, coaching, we're teaching these kids accountability. He goes, yep, keep my mouth shut. I go, yeah, keep your mouth shut, stop the puck, and get in and win us the third. And he did.
Yeah, that's what we had to have you on because you're so experienced. You had 3 boys going through the youth hockey. We joke with Army all the time. He's the crazy hockey dad because he's just getting really into the thick of things.
No, not dog.
You went to maybe the first like true hockey academy, Cushing Academy. That was you. I don't think you guys were learning a lot in the books there. But what do you take on all these new academies? You got Shattuck, who is the #1 now. Bishop Kearney, Mount St. Charles. Is it Kent School? Army sent his son
Okay.
to Mount St. Charles. What's your thoughts on all these things going on now in youth hockey?
Yeah, so the landscape's definitely changed a lot, and we've learned in the last week and a half how much it's continuing to change. Right, I heard you guys talking a little bit earlier. Right now, the it's such a difficult path to navigate. I think at this point in time, I was fortunate enough to do 2 years at a Catholic school around here, and then went out to Cushing. And like you said, it was a bit of a hockey factory, but again, you were always out there competing with the Shattuck St. Mary's. They've been around for a long time. I got buddies of mine that have coached out there, played out there, as have you guys. I think it's for each kid, for each individual, it's a different path, right? You got to figure it out. I think you can, you have to navigate it as a parent. My biggest thing, especially with Cushing, and like you said, it's at the end of the day, how many of these kids are actually going to play Division I hockey? How many of these kids are going to play in the NHL? Right. There needs to be an emphasis on education as well. So, those type of academies that what is your academic piece of it? Right. I was a 2-time All-American in college. I didn't get a sniff in the NHL. The only time I made the NHL network was yelling at a goalie to get in the penalty box. So the education piece, that brick and mortar type of academy where they're getting some school, the academic piece of it, but then also getting the hockey training. Listen, the specialization has started earlier and earlier. I think it started too young at 9, 10, 11, 12. I think it's crazy. But once you hit 13, 14, 15, it's relevant. Like the kids are no longer playing fall soccer. They're not playing, anything.
Because they're doing the same thing too. They're like indoor, outdoor soccer. Like it's nuts too. It's like
it's across all sports. It's across all sports. I got a nephew that's playing football. He's 24/7. A niece that's playing basketball. My brother's girls are playing lacrosse. He's at a tournament in Orlando last weekend for it's not even close to lacrosse season. It's the winter, right? They should be playing basketball. So same type of thing. There's such an emphasis thing on it, but it's trying to navigate it. And I think I like the model. I think figuring it out, where they're on the ice, they're training. Our boys up at BK and in those different places, the Collins brothers up there, they do a great job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I have no issues with any of them. Where in New England here, it's just a little bit of a different circumstance because there's such an we're highly populated with prep schools. There's so many
there's
private
abundance
schools
out there.
Yeah, there's a ton, and it's great. It's a great education. So trying to balance it is kind of like where we're at right now. You know what I mean? What is the right steps? We have split season teams. So like, for example, my U15 team, we just qualified for the Nationals. We won Massachusetts. We won the state. The state tournament already took place.
But November.
It's November. We're going to take 3-4 months off. All these kids are going to go play with their high school teams. And then we're going to meet back up at the end of March, play against, let's just say, Mount St. Charles, who's been playing together the entire season. And we're going to have to come back and, and then try to compete with those guys out at the national championships, which, I think again, it's a difficult situation, but it's kind of where we are at here in New England.
Yeah, Boston. I remember Boston always being like that. What was the team? Tom Pody played on it. It was a before and after team because we'd come down and play with Syracuse.
That's crazy they do that though.
Yeah, so growing up, it was predominantly you had like the Cape Cod Whalers and the Central Mass Outlaws.
Central Mass Outlaws.
Yeah,
that was
Whit and I played for them for a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, Whit and I had we had a wagon of a team, and we didn't end up making it. We ended up losing up to Nettie Haven, our boy Nettie, and Sean Collins, Steve Saviano, a bunch of those guys. They were mostly public school teams. They beat us in the state tournament. And then Collins, they went out to the Nationals, won at Sean Collins, I play with at UNH, 10 goals in one day on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. 5 goals in the semi, 5 goals in the final.
Wow. I'm here at my parents' house. I was on Chicklets.
No, it's Murls God. He had an
nobody gave me any respect, but I see Andrew in the chat talking about it. Hockey night in Boston.
There you go.
Just a top scorer award here, scoring champ.
19. I love the shrine.
Set the record in 1997, most points. Beat our boy Jeff Hamilton's record.
Brian, what's the biggest thing right now for you and the Rink Shrinks boys and dealing with, plus your experience with your boys going through it? And I guess now, like the biggest thing for me, I would say, and I guess just the educational component, and mostly it's the kids. The kids want to play. The kids don't, for the parents, we just talked about those Leaf hits and the fans, and they just don't get it. They don't get it. And dealing with the people that don't get it, but feel they have to keep up with the Joneses. They have to go here, and they're just so idly focused or majorly focused on that one thing that they think they have to do. Is there something inside of all of this I know you guys deliver the good word or the good message every show you guys have in regards to that, but what's one thing that really stands out with you? One thing that's like changing as you guys have been doing this now?
I think just still trusting the process, and I think the runway has gotten longer and longer, right? These kids, the days of 18-year-olds going to college, unless you're a unicorn, unless you're a complete stud, those days are done. So it's like, figure out your path, take it one step at a time. I would say that you got to create it a little bit on your own, right? My oldest is out at Cushing. He's a junior. They have a nice situation out there where they play, basically their entire team plays together in the fall because they're under the prep school umbrella. They can't have the same coaches, but then starting, basically a week and a half ago, they started tryouts, and, they had the team going. Ryan Bork's up there coaching. So it's good. But I think just with each kid, with each individual, it's figuring it out, right? Trusting, I think the role of like an advisor and people that know the game has become more and more important. We had Taylor McDougall on last week, who's the GM up in Moncton, and just a great guy. And I asked him the same thing, like, what about the educational piece? What's the day-to-day look like for the Moncton Wildcats, who, is number 1 or 2 team in the CHL right now, having a ton of success, really, really good ownership group. And it's like, he kind of walked us through it, right? So you have to kind of figure out what's best for you and figure out like what the next necessary steps are. I don't think there's a crazy rush to go anywhere. If you're comfortable, if your son's at Mount St. Charles and he's having with a good group, with a good team for 14s, 15s, and then when he turns 16, you figure it out. All right, do we need to make a jump? Do we need to look major junior? Do we need to look at prep schools, right? Would it be good? Like,
is he ready? Does his play dictate it? Yes,
exactly. Like my son, my 2009 is he's stayed at home this year. He's just playing. He played a split season team with our Boston Junior Eagles group. They're U15s. They have a really good group. Obviously, like Freddie Meyer's son, who Freddie's kid's a great player. Freddie played in the NHL. Murls, I know you grew up playing with him. Jay Pandolfo's son, Jim Montgomery's son's on the team. So like you're surrounded by some pretty good hockey people. And play there in the fall, and then he'll play for his Catholic school this year, and then kind of you look, all right, what are we doing next, right? Does it make sense to go to another prep school locally here, or does it make sense to go off to Cushing? Have we, I've talked to like I said, Taylor up in Moncton, places like that. I still think like he's a young 15. He just turned 15 in October. He's not ready to make that step to move up to New Brunswick. You know what I mean? But it's something that you just kind of have to keep on the radar. And I think now more so than ever, you really have to, as a parent, like, and trust in your advisor or that person that you're working with of like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. Like, you really can't marry any place. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no. Especially now, it's crazy.
No, you really can't. Like, Armdog, your son's, he's 14. It's like, if he's comfortable, you leave him there for another year or two. And then you say, okay, hey, he's really progressing. He wants to go out to the Western League, right? Or, is he ready for it, right? Does he want to go, or is it the USHL, right? Is it a place like that? He may look around and Whit talk, Murls, you've talked about it on Chicklets plenty of times too. It's like, and I had conversations with all of our parents for my 2011 team last night. All right, where's your son at? Where are you at? Where are you at school? Where do you see him fitting in? And like, hey, this is all before we've even, like, they've talked to girls. They've had a beer. They've all that type of stuff. Like, you want to keep them on the straight and narrow and progressing, but there could be a point, like, you don't want to make it a job for your kid either. If it's a job at 12, 13, 14, 15, your days are numbered. You know what I mean? Like, your days are numbered. Even if you play in the NHL, by the time you hit 25, 30 years old, you're like, dude, I'm done. This has been a job for 18 years already.
And they don't like their parents. They end up being pissed at their parents that they pushed them this hard.
I saw Shoresy. I saw Shore. Was it Drew Shore? Is that his name? The agent? Our buddy? I saw you just posted a big Instagram thing talking about another player that just played growing up, and he was
Derek Armstrong.
Armstrong,
Armstrong.
He played all these years pro,
that.
and it was a great. If you go check out his Instagram post, and it's great for any parent to see. Someone retweeted that. It landed in my feed. I read it. I was like, this is so true. Like specialized, so young,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was really good. So go check that out. Leading right to exactly what you were just talking about. Identical to that. So pretty good stuff. But the landscape's crazy. Youth hockey's fun though. Like what? Any big things on the horizon for your group this year? We got my kids in town. He's home right now. He's at the house.
Little Thanksgiving break. Yeah.
Thanksgiving break. Got the time off, but you guys got anything coming up?
The good news is you're still in the house too, because I know that was probably touch and go when you sent him off to Mount St. Charles at 14, you know?
It was.
Or
that's what I'm like, honey.
Where are you, the garage or the basement?
I'm like, honey, ramp up the work schedule here. She's my agent too, so I get her putting me off on the road. Yeah, she'll send me on the road.
Get out. That's how this all came about. Army's been calling you real rink shrink sessions for you. But how about this one? One more question. This is coming up here. You see this guy? You guys know this?
Yep.
Give your number one piece of advice to Quebec Pee Wee parents this year heading up there.
Number one, unbelievable. Bring your work some overtime details. Like I'm a cop, obviously. Like it's expensive and it's a long road, but take it all in. It's a blast. I loved being up there. Loved hanging out. You just got to be prepared. Line up, especially if you're a coach. Exhibition games and things like that. I think our schedule. We played our first game on a Thursday. Our next league game, our next tournament game,
Tuesday or something,
wasn't until Tuesday.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
crazy.
Had to line stuff up. So make sure you got things. And I think as another piece of it, like balance, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to overkill it with exhibition games because you want to have the experience. You want to go to the snow park. You got to do those things.
Oh, yeah. Village Day Spore, it was called when I went there.
Oh, the place is unbelievable. It's the same thing, but better. Like I remember it as a kid. I was like, the parents were at first kind of like, oh, maybe we should play. I'm like, trust me, they're going to remember the snow park more than they do whether they win or lose the games in the Coliseum or the Videotron Center.
That was my favorite part.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So many good nights. It's such a great city, amazing place. Just really take it all in, enjoy the hell out of it. 2000. I'll make my prediction. The mid Fairfield team is going to go back to back.
Oh, wow.
2012 mid Fairfield. They have, I can't think of her name. We'll call her a young Jessica Campbell. She's a female coach. She's the only one on the bench. And they play up in all the 2011 tournaments. They're an absolute wagon. Really, really good team. Obviously, you're getting a lot of good teams are going to come together there. But that would be if I was a betting man, and I know you guys, Murls, especially you.
This is a betting show.
You love to throw the odds on stuff. That would be my early favorite. They're a great team. I've watched them play a ton of times. Very fun to watch. They move the puck. They're like the Russian Red Army. I'm telling you, it's exciting to watch. It's good hockey. They play as a team. So that would be my early pick.
All right, I like that. We'll revisit the Quebec tournament. What is that? February when you head up there in the beginning.
Yep.
But Army, do you have any more youth hockey before we move on to Chicklets Chirps with BY?
No, that's good for me, buddy.
Yeah,
it's good for me.
It.
And you can get it all the dad talk, all the talk with the rink shrinks. I highly recommend it if you got kids in hockey. I know I saw Singsy on here. He's got his little grandson going. Singsy was saying he relies on you guys a lot. So I saw him in the chat. So everyone,
I appreciate it, boys. No, it's been good. Obviously, keep filling up that mailbag. We love answering the questions. I love the my 7U elite player and this and that. Like, and it's like, dude, did he wet the bed last night? Like, well, we're talking all this stuff, but it's constantly changing, constantly evolving. Motts is out in the BCHL. I heard you guys talking about that, right? He's coaching, and they've been able to hold their team strong right now. But he's kind of dialed into it, and he's in the rink every day, and they're trying to get better. And they're pushing it again. It's like everybody's road's a little bit different. So they, he's out there. Him and Gomer are coaching the Surrey team, having a blast out there. I can't imagine that locker room must be comedy on a daily basis.
That's
learning
what you
from
want.
those two. Yeah,
that's what you want.
That's like the experiences. That's what it's all about, boys.
Yeah, it is. That's what I told my parents when I was coaching. It's all about the journey. It doesn't matter where you end up. The best stories, the best memories are that whole climb all the way to the top. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Chicklets. I mean, that's where the rink shrink started, you coming on there as a guest.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, the big thing with the Yandle family and Chicklets is the Chicklets Cup now. Are you going to be part of this Boston Stranglers team?
100%.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Puck moving D-man, stay at home, move it, get it up. 100%. I'm in.
Because
I am on the shelf right now a little bit. I got a bad back leg situation going, not to make early excuses, but as long as I'm back to work, full participant, I'll be good to go. I don't think any surgery is needed, so I'm good.
So Jans was saying too, the Stranglers, they'd have guys with like ankle bracelets on and stuff. You're the guy that put them on and finding the team. That's a local
It's actually
police.
it's a work release program. You know, it's like a re-entering society type of thing.
Oh, that's gonna be great. I love that.
No,
Stay tuned for this.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a blast. And like you said, the boys, Whit, Biz, all you guys at, with the Chicklets crew, it's been unbelievable, and the support that we've had. Dude, I swear to God, I said it the other day. I'm like, I don't know what the category is, but this Hall of Fame chatter and it ended up, they were talking about it the same night on TNT after we recorded, Mott's and I. I'm like, just the way that what they've done for growing the game and getting hockey guys in, showing personality. Like, I think it's coming. As much as you want to joke about the clown category and all that type of stuff, there's something there.
A builder.
The builder category, right? Yeah, that's what it is. The builder category. Yeah. All right, BY, we kept you long enough. Sorry for the little delay, but we had to have Biz come on and rant about his Leafs. But thank you again, and we'll probably get you back on closer to that Quebec Pee-wee. Last year I did a blog on what the parents should go through, so maybe you can get in there because you've been there more recent than I have, and we can really set those parents up with something nice.
100%. I love it. Thanks, boys.
Stay hot on the live barn, buddy. We're always watching here at Game Notes.
Everybody's watching. Dude, we need a sponsorship. Jeez, I'm gonna give Live on a call right now.
Yeah. Ray Giroux. It's Ray Giroux's part owner. I've been trying to get him to sponsor us, but I keep giving him free shout outs on here.
Yeah, no free shout outs.
Said the same thing. Mott's played with them. We're gonna have to call it the service to be, unnamed. The unnamed. Yes. The unnamed service. All right, boys. I'll talk to you. Thank you.
All right, BY.
What a
Thanks
beauty.
for coming on. Yeah, he's the best. Keith's older brother. I went to Vegas once with BY. First trip I ever brought Whit to Vegas was with BY. We should have got into that. I don't know why I think of it now, but we had a time out there. Really good guy. But we skipped over it earlier. Let's get back into the NHL chatter for our fans here in the chat. The All Game Notes Team of the Week. And we got the graphic to bring up, I believe, Pasha.
So hold on, too. When we're doing these All Game Notes Team of the Week and it gets posted to social and someone has a great game on like Monday night, don't start carving us, people, for the Game Notes Team of the Week. This was from the previous week. You're behind. You're missing. Just because you see it doesn't mean that's when it popped up, okay? Tell your friends.
I got to take a lap on the one. I didn't put up the dates. On the 1 week, I put the dates up on it. I should have put the dates. It's from Friday through Thursday, through last night's game. I'm up all night last night, making sure McDavid didn't throw in another 2 or 3 goals, and end up on the team again. But first off, we had to have Ovi on there. He was on fire in 3 games, 5 goals, an assist, but then he's injured, +6, but Ovi's on there.
Ovi, unbelievable. Sean Monahan, Columbus Blue Jackets. What a game last night. Dear God. Just absolutely off the rails. The opposite of what Mr. Ice was talking about. That game was on absolute bath salts last night. Monahan, 4 games played last week, a goal, 7 assists, +7. We got a couple veterans on there, hey? And we were still going.
Yeah, another one. Mikael Granlund out in San Jose. The Sharks they're feisty. They hang around these games now. Celebrini, he's starting to feel really comfortable, but Granlund, he runs the team there. 4 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, +3. Watch out for them. They're always a nice little sneaky bet to get the game to go overtime or even steal one.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they kind of are sneaky right now. And another player off Columbus that we're seeing, Zach Werenski, and I think do you think he's a shoo-in for Team USA? A shoo-in, I would say. Well, how many D are they taking? 7, 8? he's got to be on that list, I think, for the.
Yeah, let me see if I had him on. Where'd I do it?
You got to have him on your list.
Yeah, I got him on
5-point night.
He was in the sandbagger. I always look for Zach. He's one of my guys.
Yeah, he's on there. 5-point night last night, though, against this Tampa Bay in this game, 7-6, including the overtime winner. He's on there. So we see him there. 3 goals, 6 assists, plus 3 in 4 games. Way to go, Zach.
Yeah, I got him second left D behind Quinn Hughes to make all you Vancouver crazy fans out there. I don't hate them. I just said they couldn't win the Stanley Cup with a small D, and it still hasn't happened. And this is no small D, and he did win a Stanley Cup. And he's a #1 pick, and we always put the guys that have 1,000 games on our team. Eric Johnson, 1,000 games, started with the Blues, then the Avs, quick stop with Buffalo, and now down in Philadelphia. Congrats on that.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I saw, what's his name? Gabriel Landeskog. They were playing against the Avs when they gave him his 1,000th game, like the silver stick, and Landeskog came out also. So that was pretty cool in that celebration. Way to go. What do they call him? The Condor?
Condor. Yeah, maybe. I know he's a big horse owner, big horse guy. He's got one named McKinnon. McKinnon skates as fast as the horse runs, is what I'm told.
Big horse guy, though. Absolutely. Huge horse guy. Congratulations to him. At goaltender, as one of our players, Sam Montembeault, Montreal, 2-0. 1 goal against and a shutout against the Oilers. Sam, who after a tough start, I know was on the list there for Team Canada. He may still be there, although it is not looking super clean in that position for Team Canada.
How about, while we're on this, I know we're kind of going off subject, but that Four Nation, did you see they were thinking about Joey Decord could somehow end up on that team because his dad's Canadian, his mom is Swiss. And they're
really?
Now, like, even though he was born in the U.S., they might use him for Canada. That's how desperate you Canadians are for a good goalie.
Yeah, like we're so desperate. Like I saw like Logan Thompson too is like the biggest thing in the NHL right now. And I heard Val Laquette talking about him, the goalie guru, and he was saying like all his like projected goals against and all this stuff was just like off the charts. And like in the last few years has been one of the most consistent goalies in his starts on the metrics and the numbers. I don't know. He has like a crazy detailed list of like under the hood list of like what he's looking at for goaltenders. And he was talking about him, but Sam Montembeault, way to go. Murls clean up this rookie for us.
Yeah, our rookie. I mean, he could have won goalie. I thought about putting him for both, but I wanted to get the Montreal fans some love, get them happy about this. This Dustin Wolf, just another American goalie we have, just a guy we could throw in there. Good. He is on fire. 3-0, 0.97 goals against average with a shutout. Beat the Rangers last night, and while I'm talking about that, I don't know if anybody watched the Calgary Rangers game last night, but it was ending, I don't know, 11:30. I'm up late. Like I said, I'm up late, making sure I don't miss anybody for this game notes. Yep, and I decide to throw a little live bet on Calgary -1.5. They're up 3-2. I know the Rangers like to pull the goalie early. It is one of the worst beats I've taken in a long time.
That was insane.
2 minutes and like 38 seconds to pull the goalie. First of all, the guy comes down, shoots it. He misses the net, like the side of the post. The puck gets caught in the net. That's how much he missed. He missed it by that much. It gets caught in the net. But the worst part about it is that it froze. So now they put the goalie back in. So now it's another 20 seconds with the goalie there. But then, who's it? Huberdeau. I mean, this guy, he's starting to get better. He's 3 feet from the net, and he rips it off the crossbar and out.
That was insane. I mean, this guy, he's starting to get better.
Just put that in, and then they're playing Bad News Bears with it towards the end. Finally, they line it up. Some dude comes and takes a clapper and whizzes it by his own teammate's face as the buzzer goes off, and I lose the bet. But unbelievable.
Who was it in the group chat? Was it Wick? Who said that last night? You guys watching this last minute of the?
That was me. I needed to complain with somebody. Everybody was asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My God. But yeah, Dustin Wolf is awesome. He could have been goalie and rookie.
But
rookie of the year. He's starting to steal that rookie of the year.
Yeah, he might be in there. Keep him an eye on him. Dark horse for sure. Like he's not the biggest, but like puck stick to him, total in control, very good athletically, technical goaltender. That's just like he's sound. Like he is very sound goaltender.
Yeah,
Way
and
to
it's no
go.
fluke. I think he was AHL goalie of the year
Yeah.
2 years in a row, maybe.
Very good in junior too. Yeah, he's
Okay.
been good wherever he's gone.
Yeah, no problem there. All right, we're going along here. It's time for some picks. Let's get into the games. Only 2 games tonight, but I love the first one. It's only one, 7:00, all eyes. I'm calling it the Army Bowl. You know, it's your favorite team. It's a team you played for and work for now, the Pens. So what are your takes on this game tonight? It's Hellebuck versus Yari, I believe, have both been confirmed.
Well, I think the Jets. So what I like about the Jets, right? They played and they lost a couple games. One of them was a beatdown from the Florida Panthers, but Scheifele gets in a dust up with Ekblad at the end of the game, and their team starts roughing it up. They start to, because they can do that. Winnipeg can do that, but I thought it was interesting. Scheifele goes after Ekblad. They're buddies too, and they just start throwing them hey, we're not going to roll over and take this loss, And they come out the next game and they beat the Florida Panthers. They played them back to back and beat them. And Scheifele, massive night, just led the team. To see him step up with character and leadership like that, I'm like, damn, maybe the Jets are for real. I'm like, God damn, it's that's something else. You just don't maybe necessarily look for or think of Scheifele for that, to do that in the losing effort, but to rise up the next game and be the absolute dagger to them in the next game and win. So they're coming in feeling good about that against the Penguins. And the Penguins just gave up a 2-goal lead, lost in overtime to Tampa Bay. And I don't know what to make of them right now, what they're going to be right now, but we know what the Jets are. So I can imagine where you're trending your bets too.
Yeah, and
come on, Pens.
The last couple of nights I haven't been great, but I will tell you, on every Tuesday I do the DraftKings Spit and Chicklets parlay, and we do have the graphic, I believe, Pasha. I did hit that one, so I am still hot. I'm still feeling it. I am on Jets 3-way plus 100. There it is. Look at that.
Oh yeah, we got to bring that up.
Look at that. Tampa win.
That was a Tampa win. That was a Tampa win. That the big comeback.
And when I had it too, I'm like, oh no, why did I bet against Sid? When it was 2-0, why did I bet against Sid? Don't do it. But no, I knew Tampa's there. Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk points, and then the Wild, my favorite team, they took care of the Blues. But I'm hot. I know I didn't win yesterday, but I'm still feeling good. Jets 3-way, and then I have Velarde to score a goal plus 180. This guy goes down into the mixer, right shot. He's the kind of guy I like to see get goals. So that's for the Army Bowl, as we're calling it.
Yeah, the Army Bowl. And then 2 kind of similar teams, I would say, maybe, but up next for you in Buffalo at Anaheim. This is a tough one to go on, no?
Yeah, really tough game. Every time I take the Sabres, they lay an egg. I want them to get in and take the Bruins playoff spot now. You heard that right, G. I want Buffalo to steal the Bruins. That's the only spot probably up for grabs, is that 8th spot right now. And Anaheim's been playing well. They're starting to turn that corner. Their goalie, that Dostal, is awesome. Yep. He'll be playing tonight. I'm sure of it. So that's a tough game. And I can't take anything. I'm on the over. I'm going to look for goals. It's late night, 10 p.m. start. I'm going to be up. I'm going to root for goals. I'm not going to be rooting. I'll be rooting for the Sabres, but I'm not betting on them anymore. Over. Yeah. Over.
Don't get sucked in. Do not get sucked in.
I almost did there. I almost flipped there. I almost did a flip.
We got Army Bowl, Jets 3-way, Velarde goal, Sabres, Ducks over for tonight. 2 games for Murls and EBR.
Yes. And there's only 2 NHL games, which I find funny on Friday night, but I guess college hockey owns Friday night. So that's why we're going to bring in G, our college hockey expert right now. And he's got, I think, 4 picks for us tonight.
Wow.
I do. You mentioned goals, Army, so we're going to start. Murls, you mentioned goals, so we'll start there. I think QU Cornell, I got the under 5.5. You know how both those teams play. I just don't picture that being. It's at Cornell, very, very tough place to play.
Tight.
Exactly. I just picture those 2 ECAC teams just putting together a 2-1. Maybe 1-0 game. So that's my first pick. Next, I have Army money line over Holy Cross. Army, I think they were ranked dead last to start the season. They have that new young goalie that's basically saved their season. So I like Army. They're putting together some wins. I like BC minus 2.5 over Northeastern. This BC team is sick. I mean, Hagen's only 1 goal so far, but he's got like 11 assists. So I think he's due for a couple. So I like BC at home tonight against Northeastern. I mean, tomorrow. And then this Denver team is unbelievable. Like, I thought BC heading into the season, I'm just like, they got Leonard coming back, Perreault coming back. What Matt Davis is doing at Denver right now is absurd. It's absurd. And then you add in Zeev Buium in there as well. So I like Denver minus 2.5 over ASU tonight. That team is just a wagon in every aspect of the word.
And that's
it's funny. I have his stats written down.
You do?
He's 11-0 with a 1.46 goals against.
Come on. And he's undrafted, man. Someone's going to grab him at the end of the year.
Last year after the Frozen Four and after what we saw and after he made our brains explode several times, kicking around in there on his way to a championship, he's still he's just a guy.
No question.
He's just a guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Last year, I think he was hurt. He didn't even start the season, and then he came in. I'm telling you, I saw him. We talked about it a couple of times. I saw him in Springfield at the regionals. He stole that first game and went to double overtime. He was cramping up. He's done. Denver's done. And he just kept saving everything until we saw him in Minnesota. And from the looks of it, we're going to see Denver there again. I thought about taking Denver too, minus 2.5 is my pick. That Divine. How do you pronounce his name?
I just say Divine.
Yeah, 1 goal, 20 assists this year, leading the nation in scoring. That's
insane.
I haven't watched them to see if is he not trying to shoot at all.
I haven't seen it. You got to imagine Carl, if they win the national championship again,
he's the guy.
You gotta imagine some NHL team is gonna give him an absolute bag to come coach there, because what he's done at Denver is just fucking incredible.
What's where the Monty started? Monty handed over the reins of that program to him.
Yeah, and he's gonna come out of college. What would a guy for first year coach with coming with a thing like that? We're talking about what Monty's contract, Biz bought up that salary, 3 point something. He said, what would a guy like Carl coming out of there with his track record? Obviously knows how to coach, but you have to come in and pay your dues.
You're going to have to pry him out. That's the thing. It's almost like he was using Chicklets as a negotiate, a leverage, where when he came on Chicklets, he's like, I'm not leaving Denver unless I get offered an unbelievable deal here. And again, what would he talk about the first part of the show? The turnover in the NHL right now with coaches is fucking insane. Look what his predecessor, look what just happened to Monty. So it's why would you leave Denver unless it's a bag, 5-6 mil? I think that's when I'm out.
Yeah, and use the company plane and all the shit, everything.
Outfit, cars,
perks.
You're there forever. I have one pick tonight. It's Bugsy Malone's old team, St. Cloud State, getting them plus 100 versus Colorado College. Colorado College is, I believe, they're undefeated.
They are.
They've played nobody. They haven't played a good team yet. So I think tonight, Bugsy and all those St. Cloud lunatics that we saw at his wedding
just
will get
buckled.
the job done.
I haven't watched much of St. Cloud this year, but that's a team I think. Is that at St. Cloud or at Colorado College?
Don't ask me these tough questions. I just go with the schools, G. Let me see.
Because St. Cloud's got that bigger ice surface, so
we got the Olympic size. We had Select 16 camp there actually for Team USA, where I got cut once again. I
would hate that. I would hate to play on that big ice surface in college.
That would be brutal.
That would just be brutal. That would just be brutal. But these St. Cloud fans must just be buckled.
Oh, yeah.
You see those guys? Tim Conboy. Who were the other ones?
Yeah.
Casimiro. In Colorado College, the new rink. I'm not scared. Okay. They haven't played anybody.
Okay.
I like that call.
I like it too. Bold
predictions. All right. That's enough picks for Friday. Time to get on the show and Minzees. Speed this thing along. First up, Army show.
Oh, you forgot about the Slapshot bus. Come on, bud. We got
I missed the game. I missed the game last week, and I forgot about the
a little
bus.
bit getting to the swing. All right, my show is I'm just like the announcement. I'm the king of the Winter Classic, the first ever goal in Winter Classic, also the fastest. Stay tuned. We will be there for a live show. Everything's happening. They unveiled the jerseys the other day. And these are them. I was up at Sportsnet. They were getting some nice shots of the jerseys on Wednesday night. You see the logo in the background there, but I quickly snuck in there and I'm like, hey, I gotta get a picture with these jerseys. So I know they came out. I know they were modeling them, but I had them right there in my sights. So I thought I'd snag a picture. Stay tuned. If you haven't got them, how's this ticket sales looking for the live show, G? I'm sure got to get on there. You got to buy them. You got to come see us in Chicago.
Tickets are going fast, but there's still some available. So go buy right now. Chat, get in there. It's going to be a blast. Some crazy guests planned.
Yeah, I bet you it's going to be everyone we've done has been fantastic. The crowds have been awesome. So I'm expecting nothing less in Chicago. I can't wait. King of the Winter Classic will be there as well with all the boys and Spittin' Chicklets and Game Notes, the whole crew and those jerseys and the Winter Classic. Here we go.
Winter Classic is show. I see Chicago Blackhawks there, and I believe Pasha's show has a little something to do with the Chicago Blackhawks.
There is a little Blackhawks flair in my show. My show is Jonathan Taves. I'm sure you guys all saw his post recently, I believe yesterday, about how he went to India for his healing journey. This guy has been through the ringer the last few years, dealing with the effects of COVID, and from what I understand, he's tried a million different things to try and feel better. So put him in the show for kind of trying something new, going unconventional methods, and being so open about it. So wishing him the best, and hopefully this helps him feel better. Captain Serious.
How long till Biz is talking about going to India and doing something like this?
He's gonna buy a place there.
Hours.
Yeah, I could see myself having a little place there.
Yep, no question about
he's
it.
looking up real estate.
When I saw this, my first thought was, I bet you in the next 6 months, at one point when we're out to dinner, 100%. Biz is like, boys, so I'm thinking of going to India, just like Taser did.
A wellness journey.
100%.
It's so funny because when that story came out the other day, he's the first guy I thought of too, just because of all the different things that he's into and his chakra and his like vibes and his, he has all this like insights, and I give him a ton of credit. I give Taves a ton of credit too. Something ailing him, something he's searching for. How long has this been too? Did it say in the article like 2 years or something?
Well, it's since COVID, so I think he's been dealing with this stuff for about over 3 years now, I think.
Yeah, crazy. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are dinged up out there over COVID with autoimmune things and different things that have happened. So crazy. He's had to go, like, people have to go to these lengths to try to get like healthy and feel better.
Yeah.
No fun at all. Gee, who do you got for the show today?
I am calling up Coach Adam Nightingale from the Michigan State Spartans. So Michigan State played the U.S. development program in Plymouth on Thursday. And before the game, Michigan State head coach Adam Nightingale announced that $5 from every ticket would be donated to Michigan, their biggest rival, to Michigan's assistant coach, Matt Deschamps, and his wife, Kelly, who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer a few months ago. I got the chance to meet Matt when I was at Michigan. Unbelievable guy. Murls, I know you knew him. He came right up to me and was like, Murl was my guy back in the day. But I didn't know about the breast cancer stuff until the very end of the tour. And me and him had a long chat. 5 kids dealing with this. I could never imagine dealing with this at 5 kids. So unbelievable move by the Michigan State hockey team and the U.S. development program. $5 from every ticket. And I tweeted out a link if you want to just donate to Deschamps and his family. I tweeted that out. So go check it out on Twitter. I'll post it again today. But shout out to Michigan State. An awesome move for college hockey. An awesome move for humanity. Just an awesome move by Coach Adam Nightingale. You just love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, like a movement night tonight. It's like a movement night for hockey, to make a change. So amazing, buddy. Yeah, 5 kids. God damn.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
great guy. Trained with him in the summers. He went to UMaine, and then we were playing down at Peltas skating all the time. But my show is kind of piggybacking on yours or backpacking on yours, like Jody Robinson used to do to us, Army. And it's Edzo's speech from the other night. It was Hockey Fights Cancer. Was that in Philadelphia, right? I was watching that game. It was Philadelphia. Yeah. They brought him in for Carolina Philly TNT. Unbelievable speech. I think it was 5 minutes long, so we can't play it all now. But go listen to that. His one line is like, his wife like kept telling the fight he wouldn't be here without her. And he said, I want this night to be someday hockey ended cancer. So I thought that was really cool. It's really inspirational. Edzo, my old coach. I love Edzo, one of the best guys I've met in the game. So Edzo's speech up to the show.
One day we'll be able to say it, boys. Hockey beat cancer. One day.
Yeah, that's a great line. And he said that, we got to put our hockey helmets on. It was a great speech, the way he tied it into hockey. And the shout out he gave to support systems and loved ones around, people battling and fighting, and how important, how they're kind of forgotten as well too. So G, we see you, we see your family. We know like the stuff that you're going through too. And sometimes it gets lost, and those people are tough and give a lot to support and help these people on their fight as well. So we're thinking of all of you guys through all of this, and let's kick ass. Let's get the job done. Fuck cancer. We got
it's
this.
Just
Way
so
to go,
common
Edzo.
Now. It's so common with cancer. And you see it in the chat, like Singsy, my mom dealing with late stage cancer now. That means a lot. Like everyone at this point has been has touched by someone that's dealing with cancer. So help in any way you can, post hockey fights cancer. I know there's donations. Buy the Chicklets breast cancer awareness merch, and that's all we can really do.
Yep. Way to go, G.
Yep, that's awesome stuff. But from that great stuff, we got to go to the Minzees. We got to go to some other stuff. The Minzees. Who's getting sent down today, Army?
I'm going to send down the city of Markham, Ontario. This article came on Joe Warmington. I saw wrote this article. Actually, my wife sent it to me, and I was like, what the hell? So this guy, Martin Ross, built an outdoor rink in his backyard. Initially started during COVID in Markham, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. And I guess his neighbors were like calling the cops and like social distancing and what's going on in this neighborhood. And later on, it's built into this giant upgrade that he put into his rink. Now he has a heritage house, or the neighborhood or something is like an older place. And he admitted he didn't get the proper permits that you may need to do this, but they're like bringing down the world on him. And basically he said, have a gun against my head to now tear down my $200,000 rink that I built in my own backyard, a backyard rink in his own backyard. And the city's coming after him. The neighbors are complaining, and they hear loud music, and I hear pucks against the boards, and the laughter of children, too much. Canada. It's in Canada too. Oh yeah, it's in Canada. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, Martin Ross, we hear you. Stand strong. We want that rink in the backyard. It's outdoor rink season 2, and I'm seeing this coming up and popping up. So stay strong. Looks like you have a beautiful. Natalie Spooner shot an Adidas commercial in that article in the backyard rink. It's that nice and cool. And so this is going to the Minzees. Markham. Minzees, I know, pull the permits, and we're going to get the bulldozers out, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a backyard rink. Are we this stupid? Are we this common sense stupid around here?
Hey, not the only Canadian politicians getting sent to the Minzees. Pasha.
Yeah, sticking with that theme, Army. I got a quote from the mayor of Vancouver yesterday that I'll read out. He says, Ken Sim, as a fan, I want to see the Canucks have an exciting run and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals and hopefully winning Game 7 in overtime. As the mayor of Vancouver, I do not want them to play a single game in the playoffs because the stress that it causes for safety. I mean, Vancouver fans, you know how sensitive and rabid they are. Who told him that this would go over well with the city? Canucks fans are up in arms on Twitter right now. Imagine your mayor saying he hopes the team doesn't play any playoff games. Like, just a crazy statement. I don't know when the next election or whatever is, but I can't imagine this helps this.
Imagine being a local business around the arena that thrives off playoff games. Some of those businesses, if the team makes the playoffs, that makes or breaks their year, whether they make money or not. Crazy. What an asshole this guy is.
I know. Crazy. I think Vancouver's still scarred, I think, from the riots. Like, what was that, 13 years ago now? Because he's talking about safety in playoff game. Like, get over it. Come on.
Good. Yeah. Keep him out of my inbox. Perfect. Keep Vancouver.
He was picketing in the playoffs last year. He's picketing up front of the rink. Like, no, down with playoffs. Down with the playoffs. Down with the playoffs.
Yeah, just bananas.
All right, keep it moving here. G, who do you got in the Minzees?
I am calling, and I would love to hear your take on this, Murls, I'm calling college hockey as a whole to the Minzees. And I had some conversations at Michigan State this past week. And in particular, on Tuesday night, we saw an electric BC versus Providence game on ESPN Plus. Whiteout in Providence, 2 top-ranked teams, overtime winner from Ryan Leonard, one of the most talked about players in college hockey. And why aren't we doing this more often? Why aren't there more college hockey games on weekdays?
Well,
That's a big.
Well, some of us went to schools where we actually got to go to class.
Yeah, well, that doesn't matter anymore. That
No,
doesn't
but
matter.
you go to school during the day, and then you can play like BU versus BC on a Wednesday night, like extravaganza.
Yeah,
Exactly. Let's do a game of the week. It only has to be two teams. That's it. That's it. 2 teams, game of the week, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Throw it on Amazon Prime. Throw it on one of these streaming services where they have money. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Notre Dame's broadcast. They broadcast their games on Peacock. The broadcast looks incredible. Why is that? Because Peacock has money and they can put money into this broadcast, which not a lot of colleges can do. But if Amazon's coming into RPI or something, they're not going to let that broadcast look like shit. They're going to put the money into it and they're going to make it sick. So my proposal is a game of the week. One game of the week in college hockey, throw it on a streaming service, get a TV deal, get a brand new TV deal with Amazon, Hulu, one of the streaming services, and let's get these kids in the spotlight, because Friday, Saturday nights, that's not prime time anymore. These kids are getting buried. The hockey world, all that conversation, all hockey Twitter, that happens Monday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, everyone's out enjoying their lives.
Well, after 2 o'clock, after they check the game notes, we're going. Really,
you know where
I like that idea. One game. I thought you meant like as a regular scheduled thing. Like, but I do that. You could find one game a week
class,
make
and
up
you
your
can
class.
find it on Chicklets YouTube page. And subscribe if you hit the subscribe button.
Why don't we sponsor it? Why don't we do it? We broadcast the game.
Why not? Why not?
NYPD, NYFD broadcast we did. We do the college hockey once a week.
Why not us, boys? Why not us?
Why not?
Yeah, we can travel all over the world or travel all over the U.S. to do that, because I know how to travel. And what I cannot stand, when it's getting sent to the Minzees, are these rookies travelers. I talked about it on Chicklets. I did an 8.5-hour flight over here with 2 small kids. I'm walking around the aisles. What's it called in there? Where the seats are in the plane. There's like a technical word.
Fuselage.
Fuselage. I couldn't think of it the other day. I still can't think of it. I'm just doing laps for 8.5 hours, the wife's changing diapers. I'm not. And then the plane stops, and this kid, maybe 25 years old, tries to aisle skip. He's 3 rows behind me. As soon as the thing clicks, he tries to grab his bag and get ahead of me. I said, no, buddy. Put the arm out like this. Had my referee stripes on. I said, no, you get back in your row. You wait in your row till I'm up. I'm like, I got all these bags. I had 2 suitcases, 3 backpacks, and a fold-away stroller I had to get down. I need all this space around me. He's like, I was trying to get out of your way. I'm like, no, you weren't. You were trying to get ahead of me so you could get in the customs line before my 2 small kids. I'm like, no. You wait where you are. So it's infuriating to me. So I'm going to have a new segment now, like we did with the beer league. We're going to have a travel segment. I got 14 rules already. Rule number 1, stay in your row till it's your turn to depart the plane.
Yep. I love it, Murls. People need this. People need this more in beer league. Like so many like warriors for work traveling all over. This is going to be so good, Murls. Yep. And yes, there's etiquette and all of this stuff. And we need you to clean up the world, clean up the people. 100%. I give you a ton of credit for sticking your arm out there and not letting this guy jump by the etiquette rules of travel and saying, whoa, sit there.
And then he kept chirping me. He kept chirping. I was trying to get out. I'm like, buddy, you weren't. And finally a mediator had to come in. The guy's like listen, neither one of you are going to change. Both of you just be quiet. I'm like, yep, agree with you, sir.
Yeah, so he got busted and then he was roasted. And that's what they do now. I see in all the videos on planes and stuff, they go immediately and it escalates because the guy that gets busted or the girl, they go on the offensive immediately. That's what they do. They start to get aggressive and crazy because they got busted.
They got busted. Caught him. I said, hey, you see something, you say something. I'm going to clean it up one person at a time. So, all right, let's hurry up. This is it. Saturday picks. Big slate. A lot of fun. I'll probably do some live picks on
15
Twitter.
15 games.
Whoa. So I got a little tip from our guy Singsy, king of the chat, ruler of the chat. He's going to have boots on the ground, Devils, Capitals. You'd got to like that over anyway, but if Singsy's there, we're going over. I believe he said 5-3 Devils would be the score, so that over. Next game up, Carolina 3-way. This team is unstoppable right now. I know Columbus is playing well, but that's Carolina's game. They're just too good, too many weapons. Love that
Carolina
team.
is unstoppable, Murls, because last I
New
checked,
Jersey.
they got stopped last night.
He
That
came
was
in
on a
so
back to
fast.
back. That was on a back to back. Carolina.
He didn't
Carolina.
he didn't play the thing when he came in. He should have
Oh,
played.
Warning. The following statements are about to be made by a deranged Devils fan. The views expressed are his and his only. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt because, remember, he is a deranged Devils fan.
Yeah, it's pretty late with that, but
There
I'm
it
glad he
is.
got.
I should have known that was coming.
Yeah.
Last game, caught a tip on this. It's Joe Thornton Day, I guess, out in San Jose on Saturday night. I just talked about Joe Thornton playing against him in youth hockey and whatnot, and now they're honoring him out there some way, San Jose. So it's Buffalo, who we talked about, San Jose. I love the over in that one. I'm going to see that game just like Joe. Everybody's going to be dishing, playing behind the net. So over 6.5 out there. Anything jump out for you on the Saturday slate? Are you working any of the games?
I'm just trying to see. I'm interested, obviously, in this Boston stuff. Saturday's my birthday, also, but I saw in the chat, Dylan in the chat said Red Wings at home are gonna smack the Bruins on Saturday.
I can get down with that.
I think that's one to keep an eye on, and I kind of don't mind it. 1-0. They barely, they're fragile right now.
Utah, they beat the Coyotes 1-0.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks the ship was righted.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say that might be a game on Saturday to keep an eye on. Start picking something in there with those Red Wings. Take a step on the Bears' throat in hockey.
I can be down with that. My brother is going to be boots on the ground, St. Louis at New York Islanders. His kid's down there playing hockey.
Singsy said Red Wings stink in the chat too, though. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, all right. So that's Saturday. Only one game Sunday.
That's crazy.
Bettman didn't listen to Biz this week and go heads up against the NHL. So one game, Utah at Toronto. The Coyotes, they still looked like the Coyotes last night. They're having trouble scoring again. I didn't like hearing that Knies is out Sunday, but I'll still take Toronto on the 3-way. And my boy, Willie Nylander,
he's playing
anytime goal scorer. He's so fun to watch. So that's just one game Sunday. And the Bills don't even play Sunday. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's total day of rest for you, Murls.
Yeah.
Get your affairs in order as far as Christmas vacation go. You can stock up on eggnog, get the decorations rolling, make sure mom and dad, they're all set up too. Get everything just dialed in. Get everything dialed in on the Sunday. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'll find a couple NFL games to bet and go have some beer and wings while I'm home. That's it for the show. I want to thank the chat. We got to thank our sponsor, Peter Millar. Check out the all-course outerwear and the rest of Peter Millar's line at www.petermillar.com/chicklets. G, anything else? You did a lot of pumping of Chicklets already. Anything else?
Just one more time. Still time to buy the breast cancer awareness merch. We'd love to write a big check to Breasties at the end of the month. It's only going to be available for a few more days here. So go buy it now. 100% of net proceeds go to the Breasties. And Chicklets U coming next week. Chicklets U Michigan coming next week, baby. Let's go.
Wolverines.
And Armin, you just mentioned eggnog. We have a little special graphic here from our boy Max, who does the Team of the Weeks in collaboration with Singsy. A new product idea here. Armnog.
Oh, I love it. I know Singsy was texting me, but he's taking it to another level right now with the marketing. And Matt,
They're getting creative.
Max, he was asking me, he's like, what do they call Army? What's he call himself? The King of the Winter Classic. I can't wait for that this year, Chicago. I'm bringing a couple champagne bottles. We'll count it down.
Stay tuned for the release of that eggnog too. Ooh, spiced eggnog. Let's go. Absolutely. Want to everybody follow us at Game Notes Bud on X and Instagram at Game Notes. There they are, right there. Come click, follow, of course. Subscribe to Chicklets YouTube. Get all the stuff. Get all the action. Get on top of it.
Do all that, and we'll see you next Friday. Sorry we went long, but we had to have Biz on. We had to have BY on. Great episode. Thanks, Army. Thanks, G. Thanks, Pasha. We'll see you next week. Always check the game notes.
Love you, chat.